Hunter, you having a good old time, boy?
I didn't know it back then, but this four-wheeler had a huge impact on Hunter's life. And it started when he was just a puppy.
Is this thing on?
Like Donkey Kong. They say the universe brings a cat to you in the exact time you need one. It don't matter if you're a cat lover or not, you will be. That's a cat. There's never mention of a dog. So is it also possible that the same can happen with a dog? We were out in the middle of our woods and Art heard a sound of what he thought was a fox screaming. I had a still in my hands and couldn't hear, and at first I ignored him really while I continued to work. Well, Art kept on about his fox, so I shut it off and went towards the sound. I seen some rustling across the creek in the brush on the other side and could barely catch a glimpse of what was over there, when finally this puppy popped his cute tiny head out with a sad, pitiful little puppy eye stare as he gave some whines in despair. And I couldn't help myself. I had to go save him. I crossed the creek and crept through the tall brush, looking for snakes, and made my way over to him. Man, was he happy to have me in that moment. He folded snug into my chest and nuzzled himself into the crease of my arm, clenching tight to let me know how thankful he was. I knew right then where to take him. He needed nourishing love and care, so I had to take him back to the house.
Dead batteries.
Art had me take him on his four-wheeler, and though I didn't know it at the time, that four-wheeler ride became a beacon of hope for that puppy. Anything with wheels from that moment on became his safe haven. In his mind, if he fits, he sits. So flea and tick infested, we headed back to meet what would become his new mommy, my wife. She, I'm sure, had other plans for the day, but after seeing his face, she couldn't help but to drop whatever she was doing in order to take care of him. As for me, I didn't know. I just dropped off our new pet. That was not my intent. I may as well had bought my wife a bouquet of flowers, then attempt to convince her they were not really hers and tell her we had to post them up online for someone else to claim because she wasn't keeping them. Yeah, looking back on it, now I see how foolish of a thought that was. This puppy needed a home and I just gave it one. What was not to understand? So with a soft spot in my heart, how could I say no? My daughter named him Hunter because I found him all alone in the woods, and she knew it was his playful curiosity that drifted him out into the middle of nowhere. A playful hunting expedition must have been on his mind that made him wander out to a point of no return. It was in his fortune we were out to hear his calls of distress. But as he grows, I've come to believe it has been our fortune instead. There's got to be an easier way. That's more like it. I guess if you read the description title, you already know what I'm up to. We got the foundation poured and set, so now we're framing everything together. This is the framing for approximately a 20 by 15 foot kiln, or keel. At its peak, it is 16 foot tall and it slopes down to about a foot and a half. It will be completely solar powered with no grid energy used whatsoever. We should be able to house 3,000 square board foot at any given time when finished, so it should complement our sawmill quite nicely. We are building everything from scratch. There is no kit involved. Basically, the sun will heat the inside like a greenhouse. Then, we will have solar panels hooked up to drive the fans to pull the air through the wood in order to effectively dry our wood with all the expenses paid for one time up front. After this build, the only expenses we should have to run into will be maintenance and upkeep, which, as expensive as a solar array of panels is to set up, I hope fixing anything will be a long ways down the road, but only time will tell. This is by no means a quick job. It entails extensive amounts of your time and a lot of planning and patience. I guess if you had nothing to do but build one of these, then you might be alright. But if you are like me, with a family and a job to go to, then you're going to have to plan to sacrifice most all of your free time to get this done. The price is a lot more expensive than what the sticker on the shelf says if you do it this way. All the time you will invest is worth more, I promise you. Then, with prices soaring through the roof, your pocket will feel the impacts too. However, this has become a passion of ours, and we feel the time it requires us to sacrifice will be worth it in the end. So here we go, one step at a time, building this monstrosity of a wood dryer and documenting any challenges or adversities along the way. There are smaller kilns on the market and probably easier to build.
How hard is it to get your things on it?
What things? The grapple?
No, the fork.
It ain't hard to get the forks on. I was just thinking about if I got to get in the bucket, but yeah, where you put the forks on.
Well, just lift it up enough for you to go up front of the tractor and get it in the middle, or even get it up to you.
But if you are looking for the biggest yield of lumber through a solar kiln, I believe you will find this to be as big as they come. Also, if we ever plan to add another one wall will be already built, so the amount of lumber it will take to build would decrease by about a third, which is awesome if you ask me. This whole wall is held up by 16 foot of 2x4s on the 1.5 inch side of them. With all the weight in the middle, they are ready to snap. So communication between the three of us is a must, and with a loud machine in the middle, yelling became a must. The stress of it breaking increases as we work together to get it up. And hydraulics on a tractor can be very touchy.
Get up there. Let me look and see if it's on up top.
I'm not in the whole way to the top, but I can't tell if it's going to clear.
I can't either. What do you like? Hey, I know we got the truck in the 8
Huh?
Oh, it ain't clearing it on my side. I'm gonna have to pick it up and push it in there.
Hey, go get the biggest ladder you got and shove that in. Get something in up there. whole thing, you got this much. Is that much holding all that? It's up there. He was just yelling so you could hear him because every little thing was touchy. I mean, touchy, one wrong move. And, I think, I heard them yelling at him. They're like, Bill, get under it. We're real close now.
They say, as you live your life, friends will come and go. And as they do, you will find out who your true friends were or are. Then, if you are able to, you will be lucky if you can use more than one hand to count them all on, because most will still be trying to fill one hand throughout their whole life. Sure, a dog is man's best friend, and a dog can fill a void that is missing in your life. They can do things to make you smile as well as upset you with their childish-like ways. Their loyalty and their dedication to you can at times be unmatched, which can make them a great friend companion. But they lack the ability to fully comprehend on the scale of logic your mind operates on. So, their dedication and loyalty is based on a child's perspective that understands nothing but to forgive and to forget and just to live in the moment. The more time you have to give them, the more unmatchable their companionship becomes. However, finding another human to accept you in the same way is a challenge. We are so complex in nature, so when another knows you the way the dog does and still accepts you and loves you for who you are, you probably found one of your true friends. As a human going through so many life experiences that can be on any level of the scale of emotions at any given moment in time, our experiences become relatable but different and hard to comprehend at times if your experiences have not been on the same level as another. Either way, bundle up all of the chaos of life and toss it into several packages, calling it season if you will, and make thousands of batches of differently seasoned individuals, then see how they mix with one another, and you may find it hard to get the perfect blend. But when you do, there will be nothing better. It will become a blend you want to write down in the books and save for life. One of those blends for me would be Art Dufford. So much so he is more family than friend. And though my wife and I are capable of handling most of these projects on our own, Art has been here when he knew we needed a hand. So he is part of why all of this is even possible. We can even tell he likes seeing us grow and wishes us growth upon us, through encouraging words as well as corrective inspiration when it is needed. A dog just cannot match that level of friendship and never will. If we are counting fingers, Art makes me put one down, counting him as another true friend in my life, and that is definitely worth more than a mention. Thank you, Art, for all you have done, and even more so for being you. I know my heart is not the only one you have touched. Your caring personality has affected many and speaks volumes for who you are as a person. We can't thank you enough. You are unreplaceable as a person and as a friend. Thanks, my good buddy Art, once again. Jeez, give you a walk around real quick. This dang thing is up there a little bit.
Dave. You got it up.